This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. I said he's a friend of the Stomping Ground.
Come on.
Mr. Dev Sahni. I want to do a little Dev Sahni roundup of the week so far. Quick one, I was talking to Fabio Wardley.
Yeah.
And I feel like I overheard someone say about the British being vacated for Moses. He said, typical Dev style, you shit stirring again.
I think, it's kind of said in jest, really. If I've got Moses Itauma and Fabio Wardley next to each other on a stream, I would be doing a disservice to not just myself, not just boxing, but to the world if I didn't say, fancy a ruck at some point? At least lead them to that. So I got that conversation going. Fabio's joking around saying, oh look, I'll vacate the British before he gets it, something like that. I don't know. Hopefully we get to see them fight. It's all a bit awkward because they share the same trainer, and Fabio's saying, so what are we going to do then, Dev? You're going to have Ben in two corners one round? Two rounds one corner, two rounds the other corner, and all of that. So I'm just up to my old tricks, Oscar. I just like stirring. It's fun to stir, right?
It's an art, and you are the master. It was funny because, obviously, like you said, same training setup, but I feel like there was a little bit of Fabio in the way he said it that was like, by the time Moses gets to me, I kind of want to be gone anyway. Forget the trainer situation.
Yeah, look, Moses is 19 years old. Fabio is 10 years older than Moses Itauma. And by the way, Fabio's a young heavyweight, which just makes you think it's unreal that Moses Itauma, 19 years old, and he is, he's taking the step-up fight. He doesn't see it as a step-up. He just sees it like he's fighting someone with a good chin that maybe he'll knock out. He thinks he can. But, amazing that he's mixing in the same caliber as guys like Fraser Clark. Fraser Clark boxed him a couple of years ago. And there's a big age gap there. So kudos Moses Itauma. I'm sure he'll be looking to box all of these guys en route to wherever he's going to go. Maybe Fabio Wardley's on that route. Be great one day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, mate, can't wait. Moses' journey has been exciting so far, and when it gets to that, I guess, more competitive level, it's going to be seriously fun. We spoke yesterday about yours and Del Boy's, I'll call it banter, but he said in an interview with Charlie, he said there's love under all the stuff that I'm giving to Joe, like all the little nudges and that. I don't know if there is love with you, Dev. I'm sorry, I like it, but he's called you a rat. He's done the intimidation tactics.
Yeah.
Where are you and Derek Chisora at right now?
I think we're in a good place. I like how you say the banter. I have to call it banter. If I don't call it banter, that's a HR issue. So I like the guy a lot. I think he's a legend. I'll tell you what, all the stuff on camera is all great. Off camera, he's great. He's great with me. I remember in Saudi I think it was the Day of Reckoning show. And I did the press conferences for that. There was a few things going on. I was getting a bit of stick here and there. And he walked up to me and just said, "You're doing a brilliant job. You are doing a brilliant job." Like, shook my hand and everything. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, he didn't have to say that, but he did. And things like that mean a lot. And I think he's a top guy. I think there's the character that he plays, and then there's the man. And I think actually towards this stage now of his career and this emotional night, we're seeing more of the man and less of the character, and I think we're going to see a bit of a mix on Saturday. Emotional ring walk and then pure war when the first bell rings.
Yeah, it's not often you get a compliment from Del Boy, and I'm saying that nicely because I do love him. But he complimented Frank, I think on Monday, atop the O2, where he said, if you want to be a world champion, Frank's the man to be with. So
Look,
maybe he's in a different mood.
He knows. As I say, it's like an emotional time for him. It's a full circle moment. He's up at a press conference table, he's looking across, and he's seeing Frank Warren there. And he's embracing Frank Warren, shaking his hand, giving him a hug. It was Frank Warren that he turned pro with all those years ago, that he had so many glorious nights with, becoming British champion, Upton Park. Frank stood by his side, heading into the first and second fight with Tyson Fury. He's now very much in the Tyson Fury camp, but Chisora was his man. He took him into Germany against Klitschko, took him into, I think, where did he box Hellenius? It might have been Finland. I think it
was Finland, yeah.
Yeah, so took him out there for the Hellenius fight. They've had some great times together, and I think it's kind of dawning on Derek that the end is nigh, which is a sad time for any boxer.
Yeah, regardless of, and we'll come on to Joe in a sec, but regardless of result on Saturday night, if you could pick two fights for the end of Del's career, he's saying he's going to end on 50, have one more in Manchester and one in Zimbabwe to kind of honour his roots. If you could pick two fights for Manchester and Zimbabwe, who would you pick?
I don't know, because look, he might get beaten so badly by Joe Joyce. He might that you kind of like don't really want to see the next two fights. So I don't know.
We'll talk about that on Sunday.
Yeah, it feels like a conversation for Sunday. How it all goes in there. Ultimately, you want all of these guys to, to go into the next part of their life with as much intact as they can. So I don't think it's the right time to talk about post Joyce for Derek Chisora.
Yeah, I was hoping for like Ngannou in Zimbabwe or something crazy, but whatever. Joe Joyce, been quite cool up there. There were a couple of times just tried to get in his face, but Joe's just maintained eye contact, not really said a word other than I'm going to punch your face in. Kind of played Del quite well, I think, out of all the ways you can play Del.
Yeah, I think he's just been him throughout the whole build-up. He hasn't tried to be someone that he isn't. I think he's had to turn it up just a tad so that he didn't get completely drowned out by Derek. So you saw in the head-to-head, Derek said a lot. Joe fired back where he could. I think Joe performed better in the press conference yesterday. He surprised me with some of the things he came out with and how quickly he came out with them. But yeah, I think he's largely just been himself. He knows who he is. He's very comfortable in who he is, and he's a much-loved British heavyweight. He's a great character. I was talking about it on the stream earlier. Remember when he just came out to the ring with a plant pot on his head? What a man. Who does that? The Juggernaut does that.
Yeah, and he refused to take it off for my post-fight interview as well.
Did you do a post-fight interview with the plant pot on his head?
With the plant.
Just an amazing man. Look, we talk about the legend status of Derek Chisora, how we'll never see a character like that again. We won't see one like Joe Joyce again either. An unbelievable man. Two big characters, one big fight.
Mate, I love them. Dennis McCann and Jarno Baluta. I love Baluta because I feel like he has no idea what Dennis is saying. He's just shouting back in his face, "Go on!"
Yeah. Look, these are two fellas who have not got a clue what the other person's saying, but they know it's a fight. And
Dennis looks like he means serious business, like he was frustrated, and he's holding that real anger from what happened last time.
He says that he wasn't happy with how Baluta reacted to the first fight and some of the things that he said. So there does seem to be extra venom, extra spite in Dennis. He says that he's strong as an ox and ready to box. He's gone up to Liverpool. He's with Joe McNally.
For poetry lessons, clearly.
Yeah, for poetry lessons. But no, look, he looks good. He looks in great shape, doesn't he? And he says that last time he boxed Baluta, he was a boy. And now when he's boxing Baluta, he is a man. So if you're Baluta, how do you deal with Dennis McCann, the man? It's a very interesting fight. But I'll tell you what, all of this stuff that Dennis is saying, or how he's behaving, or the look in the eye, and wagging the finger and putting the fist to Baluta does not care. He does not care at all. He is a serious customer. Not at all. Like, he doesn't get fazed by anything. And he's actually got one of boxing's kind of legendary chins at the moment as well. And by the way, just for more context on Baluta has a win over TJ Doheny. TJ Doheny is about to box Naoya Inoue. So that's the kind of calibre of wins that Baluta has, along with, he beat Brad Foster, Andrew Kane in a close fight. Serious customer. It's a marquee win for Dennis McCann if he gets it.
I love that. Only you, Dev, will find a line for when Dennis will now be fighting Inoue.
Yeah.
Just one thing, only because me and Fabio were talking about this. I know you said you don't really want to talk too much about the future when there's a fight on the line, but with AJ Dubois coming up, Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, potential belts separating, etc. If you were to make a prediction, this time next year, what will the heavyweight landscape look like, do you think?
This time next year, wow. And do you know, the thing is, because they're all getting older as well. It's like...
Do you think we could see 2 or 3 of them out of sport?
I think Frank said at the presser yesterday that these belts will fragment soon enough. I don't know who's going to have the belts. I really don't. Maybe you're going to have 4 champions. Who are they going to be? Will Fabio Wardley be up there? Will he be knocking on the door this time next year? So that takes us to July 2025. That's not actually that long in boxing. That's like 1, maybe 2 fights at the top of the division. So I don't know. It's a very good question. that I'm not going to answer.